Have you ever noticed the person who laughs the loudest is often the one nobody really knows? At the office happy hour, they are the spark of the room. Quick wit, perfect timing, a joke ready before the silence even arrives. At Thanksgiving, they turn awkward family tension into punchlines. On Instagram, their captions are clever, their stories bright, their life edited into a highlight reel of humour. And yet, watch their eyes when the laughter fades. There's a moment, just a split second, when the smile stays but the light behind it disappears, as if the joke was not an expression but an escape route. We've been taught to believe that humour equals happiness. In American culture, sadness is considered bad manners. Good vibes only. Don't kill the mood. So we learn a different language, the language of laughter. Not to connect, but to survive. Psychologists call this the sad clown paradox. The idea that the funniest person in the room may be carrying the heaviest story. Humour becomes more than a personality trait. It becomes a fortress, beautiful on the outside, heavily guarded on the inside. Because a joke is safer than a confession. A punchline is easier than I'm not okay. In this video, we'll explore why the brain chooses laughter over tears, the hidden masks people wear when they joke, and how to tell the difference between humour that heals and humour that hides. If you've ever been the funny friend or loved one, this story might sound uncomfortably familiar. Let's look behind the smile. To understand why someone laughs when they want to cry, we have to step inside the brain for a moment. Emotional pain is not a metaphor. Rejection, shame, and grief activate the same neural circuits as physical injury. When something hurts us, the amygdala, the brain's alarm system, switches on and screams danger. The body tightens, the chest gets heavy, the mind searches desperately for an exit. A joke becomes that exit. The moment laughter appears, the brain releases dopamine and endorphins, its own homemade painkillers. For a few seconds, the nervous system believes the threat has passed. The story hasn't changed, but the body feels lighter. This is what psychologists call short-term affect regulation, an emotional shortcut that trades truth for relief. Freud described humour as a mature defense mechanism, a sophisticated way of transforming raw pain into something socially acceptable. But when it is used not to express emotion, but to avoid it, humour shifts into reaction formation, behaving the opposite of what we feel, or displacement, moving unbearable feelings into a harmless punchline. There is another layer. Through intellectualization, a painful memory is turned into an anecdote, a stand-up routine, a clever story told from a safe distance. You are no longer the wounded person. You become the narrator observing the wound. Attachment science explains more. People with avoidant patterns often learned early that emotions were unwelcome guests. Humour became the language that kept relationships comfortable and shallow at the same time. From a polyvagal perspective, laughter is a nervous system reset button, a quick shift from threat to social mode. Brilliant, adaptive, and dangerously temporary. Because what the brain calms today, the heart still remembers tomorrow. No one is born hiding behind a joke. At some point, laughter learned to do a job. For many, it started in small, ordinary moments. A child comes home upset and hears, "Don't be so sensitive." Another shows tears and is told, "Lighten up, it's not that serious." Emotion becomes an inconvenience, something that disturbs the rhythm of the family. But a funny comment? That gets attention. That gets love. Humour quietly becomes a survival strategy. In homes touched by conflict or unpredictability, the class clown role often emerges. The child discovers that if they can make everyone laugh, the tension softens. The yelling pauses. The adults breathe again. Without realising it, they are learning a powerful equation. My value equals my ability to entertain. Some children grow up emotionally neglected rather than abused. Nothing dramatic happens. just an absence of space for feelings. In those homes, jokes become translators for emotions that have no permission to exist. Others experience bullying or rejection at school. The quickest way to control the narrative is to insult yourself before anyone else can. A punchline becomes armor, sarcasm becomes a shield. Psychologists call this the formation of a shame-based identity, the belief that the real self is too heavy for others to carry. So a lighter version is invented, one that fits neatly into classrooms, dinner tables, and later workplaces. By adulthood, the mask feels less like a choice and more like a personality. But beneath it, the original child is still waiting to be spoken to without a joke. Not all laughter hides pain in the same way. Over time, psychologists and therapists have noticed distinct patterns. 6 different masks people wear when humor becomes protection rather than expression. Mask 1. The self-deprecating shield. This is the most familiar face. I'm a disaster at relationships. My life is a dumpster fire. On the surface, it looks like humility. In reality, it is a preemptive strike. If I insult myself first, your judgment can't reach me. The message beneath the joke is clear. I know I'm broken, please don't confirm it. Mask 2. Gallows humor. Dark jokes about illness, loss or death. Common among doctors, soldiers, first responders, people who stand close to tragedy. Laughter becomes a way to stare at horror without blinking. It whispers, if I don't make this funny, it will destroy me. Mask 3. Deflective humor. You ask, how are you really doing? They reply with a meme, a one-liner, a quick change of subject. The joke acts like a closed door. Intimacy is politely escorted out of the room. Mask 4. Exaggerative performance. The loud character, the over-the-top storyteller, the person who turns every pain into a comedy special. By making everything cartoonish, they make sure no one takes them seriously enough to look closer. Mask 5. The sarcastic armor, sharp wit that feels like intelligence but functions like distance. Sarcasm controls the conversation, keeping others slightly off balance. In many American workplaces, this mask is rewarded. Confidence disguised as cleverness. Mask 6. The helper comedian. This person uses humor to care for others. They lighten everyone's mood, host the group, rescue awkward silences. Their worth quietly becomes tied to being useful. The unspoken fear. If I stop making you laugh, will you still want me? Each mask has its own language, but the same heartbeat underneath. A need to feel safe without feeling exposed. Humor becomes a gatekeeper, close enough to belong, far enough not to be touched. The problem is that armor designed to protect the heart can also lock it away. Not every joke is a wound in disguise. Humor can heal, connect, and soften the sharp edges of life. The question is not whether we laugh, but why we laugh, and what happens after the sound fades. Start with intention. Healthy humor says, we are in this together. Life is strange. Let's breathe. It invites people closer. Defensive humor says, stay right there. It builds a polite distance disguised as charm. Then look at timing. Healing humor usually arrives after emotion has been felt. You cry first, then you can smile at the absurdity of being human. Hiding humor interrupts the feeling before it even begins. Like pulling a fire alarm, the moment sadness enters the room. And finally, the aftermath. After healthy laughter, the body feels lighter, the chest opens, conversation deepens. After defensive laughter, there is often a quiet exhaustion. People enjoyed the show, but you feel lonelier than before. There are small, honest signals. The mouth laughs, but the shoulders stay tight. The same joke repeats around the same pain. Compliments feel uncomfortable. Concern is brushed away. You need a drink to keep the performance going. These clues don't mean something is wrong with you. They mean humor has been doing a job it was never meant to do, carrying emotions alone. A joke that heals leaves a door open. A joke that hides quietly locks it. Learning the difference is the first gentle step back toward yourself. The mask doesn't grow in a vacuum. It grows in a culture that quietly rewards it. In America, happiness has become a performance metric. We are told to be resilient, productive, positive, good vibes only. Sadness is treated like poor etiquette, something you should handle privately and return only when you're back to normal. Workplaces celebrate the quick-witted employee who keeps meetings light, not the one who says, "I'm struggling today." Social media trains us to edit our lives into highlight reels, where pain must be clever to be acceptable. A meme gets more compassion than a confession. For many men, the pressure is even sharper. From locker rooms to boardrooms, vulnerability is mistaken for weakness. Sarcasm becomes a safer currency than honesty. It is easier to be the funny guy than the feeling guy. And for Gen Z growing up online, humor is almost a survival language. Trauma translated into TikTok captions. Anxiety softened by irony. The algorithm rewards what entertains, not what heals. So the message becomes clear: be likable, not truthful. Be entertaining, not real. In this pressure cooker, the mask is not just personal, it is cultural. We don't only choose humor to hide pain, we are gently trained to, but a society that applauds the clown often forgets to ask what the clown is carrying. To understand how these masks live in real people, let's meet 3 different stories. Sarah, the dating comedian. Sarah is the friend everyone loves to invite out. After another breakup, she turns the story into a stand-up routine at dinner. Mimicking her ex, exaggerating her own awkwardness. The table roars with laughter. But watch closely. Her shoulders stay tight. Her smile arrives a second too late. On the drive home, the performance drains out of her, like air leaving a balloon. Alone in her apartment, the silence feels heavier than the breakup itself. She has taught her friends to be an audience, not a refuge. Mark, the corporate, sarcastic Mark, works in tech. In meetings, he's the quick one, slicing tension with sharp humour. Colleagues call him confident, unshakable. None of them know he hasn't slept well in months. When his father got sick, Mark announced it with a joke. "Guess I'm upgrading to emotional support, son." Everyone laughed, and the subject disappeared. His mask protected him from pity, but it also stole his chance to be held. Emily, the meme therapist. Emily is 22, fluent in the language of irony. Her TikTok captions turn anxiety into punchlines. Friends DM laughing emojis instead of concern. When panic attacks began, she posted about them as spicy brain moments. The likes came fast. Real help did not. 3 different lives, the same pattern. Humour turning pain into something consumable. Each of them is loved for the character they play and unseen in the person they are. The crowd gets the joke. The clown keeps the ache. Every performance has a price, even when the audience is laughing. The first cost is emotional isolation. When you're always the funny one, people stop checking on you. They assume you're strong, unbreakable, the easy friend. You can be surrounded by voices and still feel invisible, loved for the character, not the person. Then comes the boy who cried wolf effect. If sadness is always wrapped in a joke, others learn not to take it seriously. A line like "LOL, I want to disappear" gets a laughing emoji instead of a concerned call. One day, when help is truly needed, the signal is lost in the comedy. Over time, something quieter happens. Emotional numbness. When laughter repeatedly interrupts feeling, the body forgets its own language. Many people wake up anxious, heavy, irritable, without knowing why. The pain has been joked about so often, it no longer has a name. The cost shows up in the body too. Tight jaws, restless sleep, headaches after social events, the strange exhaustion that follows a great night. Relationships grow thin. Partners feel kept at a distance they can't explain. Humour was meant to be a bridge. Used this way, it becomes a wall. Beautifully painted, carefully guarded, but still a wall. And behind it, the heart waits for permission to be serious. If you love someone who hides behind humour, the instinct is to laugh along. It feels kind. Sometimes it isn't. The first step is simple. Don't reward the mask automatically. When a joke feels too heavy, let the laughter rest. Gentle silence can be a mirror they've never seen before. Use emotion labeling instead of analysis. Try saying, "That was funny, but you look really tired." Or, "I hear the joke, and I also hear that this hurt you." Name the feeling without forcing a confession. Ask specific human questions rather than the empty, "How are you?" What's been the hardest part of this week? When did it feel the heaviest? Create a small no-joke zone between you. You don't have to entertain me. You can be boring and sad with me, I'm staying. And know the limits of love. If the joke starts circling self-harm, deep depression, or substance use, kindness also means guiding them toward professional help. Listening opens the door. Therapy helps them walk through it. Behind every punchline is a person hoping someone will care enough to look past it. Learning to live without the mask doesn't mean giving up humour. It means letting humour sit beside the truth, not on top of it. Start with a small pause. The next time a joke rushes to your lips, count to 5 and ask softly, "Am I laughing because it's funny, or because I'm afraid?" Let the moment feel awkward. Feelings need a little oxygen before they can speak. Try writing the two versions of your story. The joke, "I'm just a magnet for disasters." The truth underneath, "I feel unlovable and I'm scared of being alone." No audience, no punchline, just honesty on paper. Choose one safe person and practice a different language with them. One conversation, without entertaining, without performing. It will feel naked at first. That is not weakness, that is visibility. Humour can still be your light. Just don't let it be your only shelter. If this video felt familiar, you don't have to answer with a joke. Share a line of your real story in the comments. We're listening. And if you want more conversations about the quiet parts of the human heart, consider subscribing to the channel and joining this community. You are welcome here, with or without the smile. Thank you for watching.